A couple of years ago, down to Los Angeles, I started working with artists. The artists can really easily connect, engage people. We have an art opening, 200 people show up, they're all happy and full of smiles. How can you make city planning the same way? A happy experience that people will have a good time. So I started doing this exercise a couple of years ago and thinking about, about cities, because art, if you think about art, visual, mental, sensual, it's all about engagement. And cities are all about engagement. The city has its own language of visual and spatial language. You experience it, you smell it, you touch it, and it's real. But as planners, we tend to make cities very abstract. Here's a map of Santa Monica, and here's some numbers, here's some words, and that's not people's city. They don't understand that. What's the difference between 560 parking spaces and 600 parking spaces? People don't even know that, right? But they know how it feels, and I think that's the most important part of city planning, and that's what we need. That's what we need to challenge ourselves as planners, to really figure out how can we make cities feel better for people, not just have these really conceptual plans, to have them real. So today we're going to do a little kind of a self-exploration and some team building. So the first part's going to be everybody in the room is going to build their favorite childhood memory. Because that's a really important part of our lives. When a lot of us learn about the world around us, the built environment, and how important that was in our lives, and it also kind of sets our precedent and how we look at the world today. So we're going to do that first. Then we're going to explain it. We're going to have everything presented for 1 minute, and then we're going to also, after that, we're going to build. We're going to work in teams and work on a project together.
My name is Juan Matute. This will probably surprise a lot of people, but one of my favorite memories from childhood was creating cities with Legos. I remember just kind of creating these vast cities in the room and not actually destroying them, which most kids do. Just like kind of keep building it, changing it up a little bit. Having the transportation network and the cars and whatever.
Growing up, my dad was a judge. He worked at the courthouse in Santa Monica for 20 years. And sometimes, like in the middle of the summer, I would come to work with him, and we would walk across the bridge on Main Street from the courthouse to the mall and go get lunch at Charlie Kebab.
Okay, so what I want you to do right now, I want everybody to think of 3 words that are pretty common with everybody's memory. 3 ideas, 3 words, 3 things that you heard throughout anybody's memory. Playing outside? Outside, yeah. Nature? Imagination?
The computer guy.
Santa Monica? Yeah, you kind of like rooted there. Trees? Nature? Mobility? Access? Having access as a kid, having no limits. Yeah, you can just sort of walk around for miles picking flowers. You can back on a tree for hours and not get tired. A lot of social interaction too. This is the first time you remember these times you met people on the internet. And you start to bond with people, and you start to think about how people are part of your lives. This is a really important part of our childhood, to figure out people and how we all kind of connect with them. And this is but as you can see, we all have very similar memories. Even though we came from different parts of the country, the memories are the same, so our values are the same. And this is a good way to get people thinking about, these places again as adults. As adults, again, we forget about these places, and we forget about what makes the city special to us, places special to us. And as planners, we do a bad job at that, so now we have some pretty boring cities. They don't have fruit trees, they don't have, all the things that we wanted as kids. So it's a good way to get people thinking about this stuff again. You can have a topic, or a planning-related topic that you need to solve in the city of Santa Monica. Okay, so you're going to pick a topic, and you're going to solve it.
I'm Carter.
I'm Transit.
I'm Alicia.
Okay, tell us about your topic.
And our topic was transit. And the problem that we identified was not enough gondolas in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
So our solution was a gondola.
That wouldn't mean that problem.
Right. It was very, very convenient that the sort of problem availed itself that way. So here we have, one transit hub here, and we have another transit hub here, and we have a gondola that provides transportation from point A to point B. And we also have another gondola that actually does goods movement. So it's not just passenger transportation; it's circulating goods around the region. and the bike lane got smushed, but we also have like first and last mile connections.
Well, that's a raised bikeway there.
Oh, we got a raised bikeway.
I like it. Underground.
Yeah, the
Underground
pedestrian tunnel.
pedestrian
Yeah,
tunnel.
the pedestrian.
And, you know, it's all part of this multimodal, you know, transit network for Santa Monica, thinking being the more modes, the better.
Also, you're above, we have all this stuff underneath because if you choose transit, you get to ride above everything else. As opposed to being stuck into anything else that might be on the street.
Right, there is
Crush your soul.
unmatched light and air up on the transit gondola.
The only thing that might happen is apparently we have a 2-stop gondola with 2 things on it. So.
Right.
So what do we have? We have
A protected bike lane here. Woo! So this is our lovely little protected bike lane with all these lovely bikes that you can see. And of course, we don't want our protected bike lane to just be boring old ugly cement. So we beautified it with some plants and some sculptures. And right here along the street, we have our lovely little pedestrians with some public art. And as you can see, because there are more bicycles, there's less cars on the road. What? That's crazy.
but they're not stuck in traffic, even though there's only one lane because we have public transportation. We also have money because White's main business and economic development, what is this?
Is it a drum because we're beating the drum of livability in the city?
We have ground floor retail and mixed use developments along this side. This is an outdoor patio that moves is actually a person in a pocket park. And this back here used to be, as you can see by the upside down plane, the Santa Monica Airport. This is an urban farm and gardens and all of what can happen when you turn an airport into a park.
Our concept is really around people getting to know each other better, and we were talking about this earlier, having outdoor space that's shared. So whether, it doesn't matter if you live in a tall tower or in a house or in a smaller building, that the inner circle is a place where everyone can go and be together, kids can play. The outer circle also is that, where it's places to plant food. We have lots of different ideas that can go in there, like recycling, like you guys can jump in. A center, obviously we were recycling all our water. A place where kids can play with adults, with musical instruments. You know, everything is here where it's more conducive to being with your neighbors and knowing your neighbors instead of staying either in your backyard or not even knowing who they are, not being outside. So giving playtime for kids outside and for adults too. This was representing a neighborhood that is like now where everyone lives in their own little pods. They don't know each other. They're behind guarded gates. They go in and out. We nicely extended a place where they could come over their gate to our community and get to know us and play here. But it's trying to use green space and blue space in a way that, you know, planting here, planting there, that people can come together as a community.
So, we wanted to create a more of a satirical representation of how it seems that Santa Monica is choosing to solve its water problem rather than actually solving the water problem, because it's more fun to be funny than it is to actually solve California's water crisis. So we have this beautiful oasis, this island here with a lot of blue. We have all of this piping system to bring water around the city. We have ample water. We have a little gold coin in order to pay for that water. We have a lot of greenery, a nice sandy beach. And it's kind of like a fairy tale existence. We have Snow White and just this crown that's just super. And then, so we're getting some of the water locally. We're getting other water from outside of the city. And we have these pipes that go into this water source outside of the city. But we also have this barren landscape outside of the city with spiders and all of this red, deserted landscape. A lot of, we have the green foliage over here. We kind of have the orange and yellow foliage over here. And then, so we're taking water from this area. We have our gates up, we have our police cars, our toy soldier, our army man, trying to keep people from this side from taking the water or enjoying the water on the other side.
Or moving in to take them.
Or moving in to take the water. So we have this oasis here, and then we'll just kind of conveniently ignore everything that's going on over here. So, oh yes, I forgot the most important part is we have the urban runoff facility, Santa Monica Smurf, represented here. So we are actually recycling water. It's kind of a perpetual water machine. We don't have to pretend that we're using any water from over here. We just pretend that all of the water is recycled and we're self-sufficient. Oh, the dog. I mean,
Because it's Santa Monica.
because we have a golf course with a dog on it.
Okay. What do you think were the overall themes of all the different models that people built? People first, yeah, either in transit, biking, or either in housing. A lot of nature, a lot of gardens, a lot of green spaces, a lot of creative ways of kind of doing things. You know, making Santa Monica look a little different. You know, having gondolas, having shared PR spaces. You know, just a really new way of looking at things. The whole idea is to really kind of think about, values as a baseline for urban planning, and this is a really quick way to get there, because it's just an exercise. We're having this kind of conversation just with the object, each other, and the whole idea is having everybody work together as a team to share your ideas. So many times, when you're working in planning and you're working with words, you can't really share words. Only probably negative ways, but this way you can share ideas through the visual and the spatial alignment of objects. So everybody gets a chance to share their ideas by building together. And by doing this, you evolve into some really beautiful ideas. Rather than just having one idea that just stays locked. But how you share and build, your ideas get expanded. You start to collaborate with each other, so you start to think about bigger things, better things. And that's just the nature of cities. Cities are collaborative, and we need to make it collaborative and not make it competition.
So we just finished the Santa Monica 2030 event. What do you think, if anything, was some of the overarching themes of people's presentations?
I think there are many overarching themes from the presentations. One was people first, the whole idea of having people first in transit and in housing. That became really apparent, and how we can share our roads and share our habitation spaces to build a better cohesive community. That was kind of the overall theme, I thought, and also a lot of green, sustainable types of developments.
So some of the ideas we saw were pretty down to earth, like building a protected bike lane network, and some were a little stranger, like a gondola network. How do you think those ideas could actually tie together as far as giving us lessons that people can learn from?
Well, I think the whole idea is having a really large set of ideas to pull from, and I think it's really important to imagine ideas that are kind of far-fetched, because these ideas have merit, because the whole idea of a gondola is kind of, what does that really tell you about transportation? Is it telling you about the body of the physical experience, of the new experience? They're looking at the world from a different way. But it's a really good indicator that people want something exciting in transportation. It's almost like the New York High Line. That probably has been really successful because it takes people off the streets of New York and puts them a few feet up, and it's a new experience. So maybe something like a gondola might be a new way for Santa Monica to really think about mobility in a different way.
Before you had the group projects, you had every participant design their favorite childhood memory. Why do you have that be the first part of your presentation so often? I know it's the third time I've done it.
Yeah. Well, I think the reason why I have people build their favorite childhood memory, because it's a great icebreaker. It tells us who you are, where you come from, what you value. It's also a really good indicator to who you are in the city and how do you understand the city. You don't really know who your audience is, So we might be dealing with people that never done urban planning before. So they need an inroad. They need to start. So rather than showing a person a big giant map of LA and having them solve the transportation problem, you're having them think about their own lived experiences and how those impact the city. And now they have some kind of tangible starting point to think about city planning in their own terms. So it's really important to get people thinking that way, and also about the built environment in a way that gets them, thinking in a very rich way about it.
And last, did you have any ideas for what tonight's presentations were going to look like, sort of given what the kind of city that Santa Monica is and some of the particulars? And if so or if not, how did we either meet expectations or do something different than what you expected?
Well, I think originally I expected a lot more TOD developments and rail developments, but that really didn't happen. And I think that's the beauty of this process, that even though we have expectations about what issues might be in Santa Monica, a lot of times it's different with the people that live here, or the people that live in Santa Monica, and what they're thinking. So that's what's really fun, is that you have this kind of wild card out there, and you never know how it's going to be played out. Who would have thought that social spaces or streets and housing would have been a topic? Because most of the buzz around Santa Monica is like rail lines and TODs, but that's not maybe that's not what people are really thinking about in Santa Monica. And so I think it's important for us to think about what's the bigger long range value of the community, and then kind of work our way backwards from there.